Alright guys, let's wrap up this mini-series from the JCD and Hobby Haul with this fourth video about kind of the random other pieces that didn't fit into the other categories. If you missed those, I did an introduction to the haul and covered the bricks in the first video. In the second video, I looked at some slopes. The last video, I looked at some plates and kind of similar pieces like that. And the rest of the parts here don't really fit into those categories, so I'm going to try to cover whatever's left here in this last one. I did get a final count. There were 830 pieces in the haul, and two tubs at $10 a piece for 20 bucks. That works out to less than 5 cents a piece. I don't remember the exact value, but pretty cheap for Lego. That, you know, some of these pieces are pretty specific to certain sets. Might be a little harder to find, but let's just kind of go through some of the main groups I've got here. And if you do see a piece that you want more info about, drop a comment. I can definitely look these up. I've got these all inventoried and cataloged now, so I know exactly what I have, but I don't want to go over every single piece in the video, or this would be like an hour long. So let's just start over here in this top corner. Two of these 4x6 kind of roof elements. Let's go ahead and fix the exposure here so we don't get any bouncing around with the light. These are dark green, so not a super common color for these elements, and this one also has a sticker. This particular sticker isn't exactly appealing to me, but I can see where if this was exclusive to one set, this might have some value on the secondary market. Never a bad idea to stock up on pieces in case you open a Bricklink store someday. And if you don't, hopefully Lego is a fun enough hobby for you that you don't mind being stuck with more Lego. I know I don't. So some of those pieces there. And here are some interesting windshields that I found. This one getting to be somewhat standard now, but it is within the last 5 years or so, maybe the last 8 years now, that this started being introduced into the city. The 3x6 windshield with that slightly more shallow slope on there. This is definitely an older one. The 2x4 straight up, 2x4x2 with no slope on there at all. And this has been kind of produced for a long time, and then it died out for a little bit, and now it's back into the main production. So it's definitely possible to find this element in much better condition, but this is definitely one of the older ones, the originals. This one isn't super rare either, but it only was released in a few sets. The trans dark blue 4x4 with kind of the 45-degree slope up there to a single row of studs and some sidewalls. And then this one was in a couple of Batman sets. I haven't had much luck getting the other half of this windshield. I think there is the other half, but for some reason the left side is more common. I think there was a set where there was just the one side included, so that might explain it. But definitely an interesting piece. It does incorporate the Technic pin here for the opening mechanism, and I think you could pop this glass out if you needed to, but it does come inserted, so that's kind of standard for that piece. So there's some windshields. Minifig Elements, not super common. This hobby store does pull minifig parts to the side and sell those separately. So whatever you do find in the main bins is kind of what they missed. So you're not going to find a lot, but I was able to spot a few. Probably the best one being this white jetpack and a trans neon green, or trans regular green head, I guess. This is a ski pole element, somewhat recent. It's really good for detailing work, antennas, stuff like that, but also just as a regular ski pole. So some minifig stuff there. Tires and wheels. I don't buy a lot of these, but I do like our Speed Champions wheel size. This is pretty useful. It has the smaller axle version that dates back to the old days, but it has a larger diameter wheel that's really similar to our Technic wheels. So if you want that larger diameter for a smaller axle, this is the way to go. Otherwise, Technic wheels do have kind of some interesting detail on both sides, so you can swap that around to suit your needs. And there's also a couple different tire types to go on these now. So some small wheels and some large rims with the Technic connections. Oh, another note is there are variants for both the pin and the axle available. Not in every color, but in quite a few colors. That's a Technic piece. These are kind of just random hinge elements. This is an older piece. It's a scoop bucket. It would be useful for completing a set if I want to try to complete a vintage set, but other than that, not much use there. A couple of fence elements. These are nice to pick up. Of course, you want these in quantity, so the more of these you have, the better. And when I can pick up 1 or 2 more, I don't mind doing that, especially at hobby store prices in bulk. Windows, we got glass, we got inserts, wall panels. Yeah, I like buying these up. Another, just kind of similar with the fences, you know, you want to have a lot of them, so when you can buy a few at a time, you do, or I do at least. This green one I think is a good window color to have, not super common in green, the 1x2x3. Some wall panels here, not as useful, but that one's got the sticker on it. This dark red wall window combo isn't super common either. I've been looking these up on Rebrickable as I sort them out, just to kind of get an idea of the rarity. So, but yeah, mostly looking for this kind of window right here that I could use in modulars if I decide to go building that route in the future. Some of these Technic elements, the Friends color beam here, and then the rest of these just looking at stuff that maybe has only seen release in 1 or 2 sets, or is getting older now and hasn't seen release for several years. So the white small gear, that kind of stuff. Old Technic engine, brown one of these, not very common, and dark gray. This is old dark gray. But yeah, just kind of some alternate colors for common Technic pieces. Usually these come out in the grayscale range, so it's really common to see these in black, dark gray, light gray, even white. But some of our other colors, you just don't get Technic pieces in those colors a lot. So I try to grab those when I see them. Always could get those sold on the secondary market if I decided I didn't want them for some reason. The Scrollwork brick is one of my favorite recent elements. Definitely will be doing a hue tap on this one in the future. Don't know when, but I'm grabbing these up. I think the Pick-a-Brick walls started releasing these in pearl gold, so I'd have to go back and look through my records, but I either just saw that and haven't been able to get any, or I was able to get some and I stocked up on. I think I did stock up on these in pearl gold. I just haven't used them in any projects, so they've been sitting in my bins. Guys, I've got to get building. Oh, I am feeling the pull back to the build table. All right, let's wrap this up. We've got some regular 1x1 round bricks and cones. The trans purple, I don't know why, but I always had an affinity for this color in cones for some reason. I think it had something to do with the Star Wars builds I did at a young age, some of my first mocks, and building missiles with this color. Trans neon green, I love that color as well. Some of our new azure colors, tan, stuff like that. And then the rest of these are just kind of goodies. You know, stuff that you don't see too often, and will not turn it down when I spot it in the Pick-a-Brick wall. The old octagonal cone pieces and the matching profile for those. Here is an interesting crystal, cha-ching, like that, and trans green. This is the same color as the head that I had actually. So this isn't the trans neon green. That's what this one is. So this one will actually glow in ultraviolet light or black light. This one looks similar, but it doesn't glow. It's just a regular transparent kind of color. Like that. Old yellow engine here. Black chair. So like not really rare stuff, but when you can get these, for example, for under 5 cents a piece, for 3 cents a piece, you definitely want to pick these up at that price, because if you go out looking for them on Bricklink, they're closer to 20 cents a piece. And even if you don't need them and you decide to sell them, you can still get more money for these pieces and then make that profit back. So that kind of thing is what I'm keeping in mind when I'm looking for pieces on the brick wall. Not necessarily stuff that I know I will need to use in a build, but thinking about what pieces may be harder to find down the road if I do end up needing them in a build. So kind of planning ahead, but also not really planning ahead, because I don't plan I don't really have builds planned out at the moment. I know there's a lot of things I want to build, but I haven't got into the details of, all right, I need 20 of this piece, I need 10 of this piece in red, brown might work if I can find them in brown. Once I get into the planning process for some of that stuff, like I did with Patriot Hill, then I will have a better idea of the pieces I need. But at this point, this is just kind of future-proofing my collection so that when it comes to the time to use these pieces, I have at least some on hand. And like I mentioned, a range of colors to kind of look at, just having that stock to where I can pull from bins, get an idea of how it looks. I'm not waiting on orders from Bricklink. I'm not subject to the price fluctuations on Bricklink, because that can get brutal. I'm not paying for shipping on all of these. There's a lot of factors that add up, just make it worth it to me to be buying these kind of pieces at the hobby store. So yeah, that's a wrap on the haul. 830 pieces. And if you are interested in kind of a similar my thoughts on collecting different Lego style pieces, I've talked about previous hauls from this hobby store, not just these past 4 videos, but way back on our channel. I've been to JCD and Hobby twice before and recorded some video about that. So up here in the corner are some more of those if you're interested in that. And if you're just interested in LEGO content in general, well, this is the place to be, Brick System Brothers. Thanks for stopping by and watching all the way through. I'd love it if you guys would subscribe and keep our channel growing at this point. Tell your friends, and if you do have questions, drop comments down below there. I can usually get back to those within a day, so won't leave you hanging on that, and we will see you around.